Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Film Points podcast. It was truly grateful for all the support that I received from my past episode, everyone checking me out and giving me feedback, so I really do appreciate that. If you want to stay up to date on the different episodes that we have planned, hopefully for this podcast coming up, you can follow us on uh, the Film Points podcast on Instagram, also the Film Points podcast on TikTok, and we also have another Instagram just for media production. So also it will be Film Points Media. So if you want to stay up to date on any projects that we have going on in the future or anything that we got planning to come out, so check us out on there, and we'll continue on with the topic of the episode today. So in my last episode, I just gave like kind of a brief little intro about myself and about my film career and things that I'm going through and things that have gone through. So in this episode, I kind of want to go into a topic that really n- I don't want to say nobody really talks about, but when I was doing research on it, uh so many like people I guess really don't, I don't want to say understand the topic, but it's like I don't know. So from my perspective, well, the topic is dieting as a filmmaker. So many things that us as filmmakers we go through, and most of the time, trust me, I know I've been on set. I understand how the stress of everything can come on your shoulders, and you really don't have the time to go into, like, let's say you want to meal prep for the week, or if you want to, like, same thing, if you want to have your meals planned out for the rest of the week, that's not something really that we think about as filmmakers. We just kind of like go with the flow and just making sure that everything gets done like fast, quick, and easy, very detail oriented, but also because we know when time on set, that time on set, it takes basically it takes time. So many like obstacles and so many situations that can go wrong for us as filmmakers. So we kind of really don't prioritize our health. Well, speaking from my perspective, speaking for myself, we don't prioritize our health as much because we only see like, well, we have our goal and that's something that we want to continue to strive for, but we just see that, so we don't really pay attention to all the stuff in the background. But if we prioritize, if we take our health into action and into plan, I feel like so many things that we could do also, because if we have our health and we have, that stamina or that extra strength that we need, let's say to lift like some stuff that we have on set, or to whatever that we have to do, I feel that that will help us out in the long run, because obviously, as somebody that's a video editor, you're very stationary, you really don't move as much. So what I try to do is like either if I'm going to go into work or wherever I'm working at, like, or before set or before a shoot, I try to either do it like before, mostly probably before, like exercise before, because if you don't, after work or after you're shooting on set, filming on set, you be very fatigued. Obviously, as many of you know, that filmmaking and production takes a lot of time, like how we spoke about before. It's it's just time consuming. That's really all it is. It's just time consuming. So I say if you want to make sure your health is the best, just make sure that you take care of that before, because I know like many times many times I've been through it. Many times I'm gonna be like, okay, after I go to work, or after I'm gonna do what I have to do, and then I'm gonna do exercise, or I'm gonna whatever, go into my fitness uh goals or whatever. But most of the time I can tell you that that didn't happen. So I'm a person that likes to get stuff done like first, and then I just like to get things done like right away. I don't like things to stay and just be there, I guess, in a sense. I don't like things to be just there. I like for things to be done. Like when I have a checklist. So when you have a checklist, you obviously you mark everything down, like one, two, three, four, making sure everything, that you want to do for the day. you get everything done. And that's the type of person I am. If I for the day, I'm gonna make a list and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this today, this. And that's just, how I am as a person and how filmmaking really kind of put me into that. Because before I wasn't really like that. Before I didn't really have like a set schedule like for the day. I was just like, okay, today I'm gonna like you just have like that thing in the back of your mind, like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this today, and you don't really have like a set schedule. You don't really have a set thing that you have planned for that day. Like you just kind of go with it. So whatever happens, is whatever happens. But as a filmmaker and someone who's been like in the industry, you see how you have to have schedule. Like, and that's something that we talked about in the past episode. If you listen to the past episode, if not, I encourage you to check it out. But we talked about that, and you know that's just one of the things that we go through, and something that I found out, like throughout, like if you're working like me as a video editor, obviously we can get stuck and just stay and just work all day, but we have to make sure that we can take breaks, because obviously easier said than done. Definitely easier said than done, because as video editors we go into this place and you just want to work, 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 and just get everything done and push it out. And we don't really make the time or make the effort to go into think about our health. And that's something that I had to think about, because before, obviously, so different factors really went into my thinking of this. And so many articles that I've read, actually, I've one I might include at the bottom of the episode, like in the description maybe. It's from Filmmakers Academy, and I was just going through it the other day when I was doing research for the topic, and they had some really good points on just like things that we can do during set or during our jobs that we have going on. So one thing that they talked about is planning ahead. So obviously, if you know that that day you're going to be working for a certain amount of time, just take that time into effect and just think about it. Be like, okay, well, I'm going to be on set. I'm going to be doing this production for 8 hours. And you're like, okay, well, there's 8 hours in that day that I'm going to be working. So I have to make sure that I eat in between those 8 hours, because I know a lot of the time we don't eat in those hours. And then by the time we're done, we just grab like a pizza, or we grab anything that's super fast, super quick, and that's like right in front of us. But if we want to have our health in the long run, if we want to have that in the future, we have to take that into account. Just planning ahead. And that's something that I had to do. Trust me, like it's not, I don't look forward to doing it, but it's something that I know I have to do if I want to stay on top of my health, and making sure that, you make those right decisions according to like eating well and having a healthy diet in this industry. Because like how we talked about, it's hard. It's hard in this industry, because most of the times you go on set and sometimes they have different types of foods on set. Like if you're in production or if you're in the industry, sometimes they have food laid out like snacks, or not the healthiest of snacks, obviously, like candy, chips, whatever, that type of stuff. And sometimes they may have like a plate of fruit or some salad, but most of the time, filmmakers or people working on set are not going to grab that type of stuff, because they're going to grab something quick, and they just want to grab that something that they know that they like. So trust me, I once again I've been through it. I had to provide food for my cast and my crew, so I understand that that's something that we can be easily lost into, just grabbing like whatever that comes like right in front of us, something that's quick, making sure everybody's fed. And that's the only goal, just making sure everybody's fed. And but we have to also make sure that we keep everybody fed, but we also keep everybody healthy at the same time, because we want to make sure that their career, like our actors career, our crew career, their career is prolonged, something that they can continue to do for a long time, as much as they want, really. If they take care of their health and they take care of their well-being, that's something that they can continue to build their career, continue to build their portfolio, and hopefully like have a good career in the business. But most of the time, it's not really like that. That what I've come to know in in this business, in this industry. So that's something that I took from the article. Also, they said to stay hydrated. A lot of the times we don't drink water. Water is very essential, just so everybody knows. Quick announcement that water is very essential to our well-being. Make sure you drink water throughout the entire day. It doesn't even matter. You don't even have to be in the filmmaking industry or want to make films, short films, or whatever. If whatever job you work in, just make sure you drink water. Very important. Many times we skip over that and we don't understand the effects that can have, because obviously we can get dehydrated and have less energy, but making sure that we drink water. Also, it just says drink plenty of water, avoid sugary drinks, as many people go to those sugary drinks in question, excessive amounts of caffeine. So, coffee drinkers, obviously, many people like their coffee in the morning, but coffee also dehydrates you. So that means that you have to drink more water than you would have to. So just making sure that, obviously I'm not telling you not to drink coffee because if you love coffee, you're going to do what you want anyways. But just keep that in mind that, that caffeine also as well, you're going to have that energy for that certain amount of time, but it's also going to crash at the end of the day because especially if you put sugar in coffee. So all that sugar, I don't know if you guys call it sugar rush, sugar crash. So sooner or later, you're going to come down with that sugar crash, and then you're not going to have the energy that you need throughout the whole shoot or throughout the whole day. So just making sure that we drink our water, drink plenty amounts of water throughout the day, like every hour or whatever you have to do. Trust me, coming from experience, you would want to do that. And they also said to eat small, frequent meals. Instead of relying on large, heavy meals, aim to eat smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day to keep your energy levels consistent. So same thing. If you want to eat uh, like kind of snacks, but healthy snacks, obviously, I eat stuff that's like high in protein. So like Greek yogurt, or you can have apples as well. Apples actually has, I think it's like 82% water. Watermelon is a good snack because it also keeps you full. It's less calories and it keeps you full because obviously the water. So just having those things with you, packed like in your backpack or whatever you take with you, making sure you have those things, and just staying on top of it. And choose healthy options like how we talked about, stuff that's high in protein, fiber, healthy fats, and avoid foods that are high in sugar, salt, or unhealthy fats. And take breaks. This is something that I really wanted to emphasize on, is to take breaks, especially people like my video editors out there. Take breaks. I know it's hard. Trust me, believe me. Uh, you get into this cycle, you get into this process that you want to knock everything out, and you just want to get through it. But trust me, it will help you out in the long run. Just take breaks, like every hour, hour and a half, or maybe even like less, like every 30 minutes or something. Just take like a 5 minute break, just away from the screen, so you can like be sane. Because sometimes we just get caught up in the moment. We get caught up in, doing our work that you don't want to make your work take over like your personal life. Obviously, you don't want your work to be like the only definition of yourself. You want to make sure that obviously your work reflects your personality, but don't let it be like everything that you are. Because that's something that we can easily fall into, just making like our work like everything, everything, everything. But we also have to make the time to make our health like a big option for each and every one of us. So take breaks. It can, if you don't, obviously, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what burnout is. You'll get that burnout, and then it's just, you don't want to do nothing. Like, you don't want to do nothing at all. You're just burnt out. You don't have the energy. You know, your thinking skills and everything, it just goes out the window. So making sure that you take those breaks in between, like I said, like maybe like every hour. Also, another thing that I can say is just like walk around. Obviously, somebody that works as a video editor or in the filmmaking industry, if you're stationary for a while, or even if you're at a desk job, obviously, just walk around like, man, like every hour, hour and a half or something, just making sure that you move your legs around, because a lot of times we can just stay there, and when we get up, we kind of like lose our balance a little bit. But just do those type of things, and it will help you out in the long run. And avoid late night snacking. Obviously, as someone that used to do do that a lot, just it can be hard because, like how we said, when you get back from a shoot or when you get back from your production, it's gonna be late at night. It doesn't matter if you started like early in the morning, you get started at 7 o'clock in the morning, your shoot's still gonna end like 8 or 9 o'clock. If you call that late, but it's still gonna end at 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, no matter what, because obviously you want to get as much work done as possible. According to myself, that's how I would take it. But try to avoid late night snacking, as this can disrupt your sleep. Obviously, us as myself as a video editor, you need sleep. Sometimes we don't get sleep. We stay up to about like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning doing projects or doing work, whatever we have to do. So that's something that we have to make a schedule, like how we talked about in the previous episode. Make a schedule, make a plan of action, or just a plan how we want to do the rest of the day, how we want to plan out our week, because we can do like certain work on certain days, or if you want to knock everything out on one day. Wouldn't recommend that, obviously. Just make sure you spread your work out throughout the week. Make sure you have enough time for your health, and if you want to exercise, you have that time, like say like hour or whatever. That's how I do it, like hour of exercise. Just keep that hour to yourself, and then you have like another, like whatever, how many hours you want to sleep. I recommend 8, maybe more. But if you want to do 8 hours, you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop at this time and then chill out for a little bit and then go to sleep and then wake up and go to work. That's what we have to do if you want to stay. I say if you want to stay sane, if you want to stay like right, because obviously after a certain amount of time, you doing those things like staying up, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, it's gonna take a toll on your body. It's gonna take a toll on your mind. It could be exhausting, really. I mean, I can speak from experience. It could be exhausting, and you don't want to go through that. If somebody would have told me that in the beginning, maybe I would have done a better job at it. But that's why I'm here, obviously. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to me on my Instagram at timothy.montes. Anything that, if you want filmmaking tips or if you just want to give some advice, I'll greatly appreciate it. Any criticism as well, doesn't matter. I'm just here to make sure I better myself in this career, making sure I can better my work and my craft at the same time. So, and some examples of some foods that you can take with you, like on set or on shoot, that they talked about in this article. I'll probably link this article in the description down below. But one is berries. Berries are a great source of antioxidants, which can protect your cells from damage caused by free radicals. They're also packed with vitamins and fiber, making them an excellent choice for a healthy snack. Try snacking on fresh berries like strawberries, like how we talked about blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries throughout the day. So just having those, like you could put them like in a little container, you could put them in a little bag or whatever. Just keep them in your backpack or wherever you have traveling around. Keep them in there, just snack on them like for the day. Trust me, sometimes we can forget, like how we talked about, we can forget it, and we can't forget. We just make sure, but okay, like we can check our phone or we could put a timer on our phone. That's something that I do. You could put a timer on your phone and just be like, okay, oh, I'm gonna eat like just for this little while, and then eat here, like because that's something that we have to take into account. And then also nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are a great source of healthy fats, protein, and fiber. They're also rich in vitamins and minerals like magnesium, zinc, and vitamin E. Try snacking on a handful of almonds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, or sunflower seeds between meals. Obviously, if nuts and seeds are not your thing, then obviously there's other options. Leafy greens, obviously, they tell you when you're little to eat your greens. Your mother or your grandmother told you to eat your leafy greens. So it's not something that we want to hear most of the time if we're not eating like as well or as right. But that's something that that's something that we have to take into account if we want to have a like good long career in this industry. whole grains. So brown rice, whatever, oats, oatmeal. If me, what I would recommend, like if you're for sure you're on the go and you have to be there at a certain time and you're kind of running late, just get a bowl of oatmeal. That's what I do. You can also what I do is just get oatmeal, protein powder, mix it up. That's just something that I do every morning, pretty much. I try to mix it up, do that, and then eggs some days, but you just have to make at least like a little play. I mean, I don't really think too much into it because if you do, then you might go crazy with that as well. But just just think about it, plan ahead. Like how we talked about, one of the first steps was planning ahead. Just plan out your day, plan out your week, and I think you'll be fine. But yeah, if you want something quick, I would recommend oatmeal. You can easily just pour it in the bowl and warm up some water or milk. Some people put milk or whatever, and that's it. Just eat it, and you're on your way. So lean proteins, proteins like chicken, fish, and says tofu, but I'm not really a big fan of tofu. If that's your thing, then hey, uh, are essential for building and repairing muscle tissue. Obviously, there's a great source of energy that can keep you full and satisfied, and that's something that you want to, because obviously, if you're gonna feel hungry throughout the day, then you have to make sure, like just like how we said it before, eat during the day, like little like snacks, like good snacks, obviously like Greek yogurt, strawberries, berries. We kind of went through the list a little bit. Just have those type of things in your bag or in your case or whatever, and just making sure you eat them. And because I know, like how we said, it's hard, because you get into your work and into your craft, and you really don't want to take a break, but it's something that we should look into and making sure that we get that stuff done. So, and the bottom line, uh, here we go. Overall, by making conscious choices about what we eat and what when you eat, you can maintain good onset eating habits and stay energized and focused throughout the long days on set. As a filmmaker, it's important to prioritize your health and well-being. By incorporating healthy foods like berries, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, whole grains, lean proteins, and fruits, vegetables into your diet, you can keep your body and mind energized and focused throughout the busy days. And choosing water is ideal for enhancing energy and focus. Remember, taking care of yourself is just as important as taking care of your craft. And that's something that we talked about, just taking care of yourself so you can have a good career in the long run. That's we all want, something that we all want and desire, to have a good long career. And if we take care of our bodies, if we take care of our health, and also mental health as well, because if you just like how we talked about, you can go into burnout, and you can have those times, that you feel like stress and weight that's on your shoulders. Just like how we said, take breaks, take walks. Like how I distress myself is exercise. Like that's how I let out everything that I need to let out, and then that's how I go into work. So I work out and then go into work out and then do what I gotta do. Because if I don't, then my schedule obviously is all messed up. But that's just something that I do. I just making sure that I get all the stress out throughout the day, and then that's it. And just go into your work, and then go home and go into the next day. But that's just a little tip that I do. Obviously, not everybody's gonna do what I do. You can do something different. You can do like meditation or however yoga or whatever you want to do. Just something that distracts you from, you know, your work. Obviously, not taking all your focus away from your work, but just something that can like, okay, like this helps me relieve stress in this moment. So, and like there's days on set that we talked about. They're gonna be long days. They're gonna be hard days. Stuff can go wrong, probably will go wrong. Just making sure that we are prepared for that, like how we talked about in the previous episode as well, that we're prepared for those days. And obviously, once you go through those things, it will help better prepare you, like, for your future and your career in this industry. and it will actually help you in your life in the future, because if something goes wrong, you can have a good sense of how to deal with the situation. And as filmmakers, it's hard some days. Things don't go right, things don't work the way you want to. Sometimes cameras always act up, audio always acts up. It's nothing. Not gonna say it's nothing that we can't control, because sometimes maybe we pushed the wrong button or we did something. But obviously, it's technology, and that's something. It's not perfect, and we're not perfect either. Obviously, it's not all the time going to be on our fault. But making sure the main topic of this podcast is just for this episode, staying on top of our health in the industry and being the best that we can be, really, because we want to be the best in our field. We want to put out the best content. We want to put out uh, the best version of ourselves, because we want to obviously show the world that you know this is what I can do. This is what we can do, and we just want to put that out. We just want to share what we create. If you create something, obviously, and you put it out in the world, or you post it on Instagram, you post it on TikTok, you post it on YouTube, social media, whatever, you want other people to see it and get something from it. Or that's how I see it. Don't know how everybody else sees it. Some people just want to put out stuff just to put out stuff. But when I put out something, I want to make sure that the other person, like, viewing it, gets something out of it. Get some kind of, like, education, some kind of anything really from it. If you take something from it, that's fine with me. If you want to take something negative from it, hey, what, you took something negative from it. I mean, I didn't mean it in a negative way, but if you took it that way, then obviously you took something from it. So, but if you're listening to this podcast and you take something positive from it, then I've done my job. Then, this is what this podcast is about. And towards the end of right now of this episode, I want to give, like, what I'll be talking about, like, in the future. So really, this podcast was started, like, on the art of filmmaking, on the art of movies, television, and anything like that. So I will be talking about, like, those topics, like maybe like movie reviews or film reviews, TV show reviews, just stuff that I like to talk about. That's something that I'm interested in, and probably have some guests on that will be have experience in filmmaking, or really any type of content creation. That's really kind of what I'm shooting for. So whether it be for social media, whether it be like feature films, short films, actors, cast, crew, that's the type of people that I would like to interview uh, on this podcast, because I feel like they can give their story and everything that they went through in the industry, and everything that they're gonna go through. There maybe their past projects, like different situations that they went through, and I feel like that'll be beneficial to anybody that wants to get into this industry, or wants to get into filmmaking, wants to get into short films, whatever, editing. We can have some editors on, so they can just get a little insight. That, like, people that want to be in the business, they can be like, okay, well, this is like this is maybe what I'm gonna go through. This person went through this, and hopefully they can get a better understanding of, this type of business, this type of industry, and maybe they'll want to be a part of it, or maybe they won't be a part of it once they looked at, view this podcast. Hopefully, I would think that maybe you would want to be a part of it if you're listening to this, so you can get something out of it, and hopefully be a part of it, because it's really fun. I mean, if you do something for your job that you really love to do and you're passionate about, you're going to put all your effort and your work into it, then you're going to love it. So I have no issues or no problem with that, because you're going to do your best every single day, because it doesn't feel like work to you. That's how I take it. Doesn't feel like work, and you're going to put everything that you want to, as a creative, as a creator in this business. You're going to put everything that you want, everything that you have, to be in it. So if you want to be a part of it, reach out to me. You can DM us on Instagram at the Film Points Podcast if you want to be a guest, or if you have anybody that you would want to be a guest. You can reach out to us on Instagram at the Film Points Podcast. Also, you can reach out to me as well on Instagram at timothy.montes if you have any questions about the podcast, or same thing, if you want to be a part of it, you can DM me there. And we're also on TikTok, Instagram, but everything will be linked in the description down below. So if you want to check that out, that would be great. That would be wonderful. That would be greatly appreciated. And I really appreciate everyone's support for my previous episode. Like how I said at the top of the episode, really grateful, really blessed for all the supporters that I have. So that's something that I'll take into account in the future. So, and with that being said, that's the end of this episode. But like how I said again, I really appreciate you if you clicked on this episode, if you viewed it, if you got something from it, then I've done my job. So hopefully I'll see you in the next episode of the Film Points Podcast. See you later.